Hello, and welcome to the March patron stream. I hope everybody out there is doing well tonight. Let me see who's with me so far, and then we will get the ball rolling here. We've got Ben in the chat. What's up, Ben? We've got TH Jamie. We got Bog Zombie, who can't stick around, but just want to stop in and say hello. How you doing, Bog? Hope you're doing well. Got Michael Sullivan, got Captain Halloween, my buddy Keith, RJ Skarinky. Got Orc in the chat. Got PlayStation 9. Nick Smith, thank you for becoming a channel member. I appreciate that, sir. Very kind of you. There is Davo. I had to drop out. Kids and background noise. I will catch you in the next. Okay, Dave. Not a problem, sir. Not a problem. There's Jess Graham. What's going on, Jess? Brother JP, Ross Jordan, Scratch Burno. How's it going? Hope y'all are doing good. And there's Dave. What's going on, Dave? All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and bring in the rest of the panel tonight so we can get the ball rolling here. What's up, Ghost? Ghost, get in here, man. Where are you at? Get your butt in here. So yeah, let me bring on the rest of tonight's panel. Joining me tonight, we have got Swaggy G. What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing, Piz?
Doing good, you?
Doing wonderful, man. Thanks for doing this again.
Oh, not a problem. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, I want to say too that your shows on Sunday now with your guest have been very, very entertaining.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, especially the topics that y'all go with.
Oh,
I know you've only done like 2 of them so far, but those are very, very good. Very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely going to do more. I've got more. I got a list of guests who I'd like to bring on, and a number of different topics to discuss. So it's there will definitely be more. I'd like to do like one a month.
Mm.
Yeah, I'd like to do like one special one a month, but we'll just see how it goes. So
where do you get your ideas for the theme of the show or the topic of the show?
Well, I'd actually posted on Patreon asking for if anybody had any topic requests, and I got several pretty good ones. So, and the first two that I did were actually topics that were submitted by patrons.
Yeah, those are really good. I love the idea of talking about things that people think are popular, but you like, or vice versa. That's a really interesting way to go about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Plus, too, it gives me some ideas of stuff to watch. I add stuff to my watch list whenever I watch that. So,
I know you said you added something to your list based on, I think it was, I don't remember if it was Dave or Peter's pick.
Yeah, the black hole. I've never heard of that either. And
I don't think I had either.
And, I love they have in it laser guns, but it's like the Star-Lord gun, to where there's like a barrel up top and a barrel down below. So whenever they shoot, there's like 2 lasers coming out. It's actually like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Okay, well, that's cool. All right, cool. Well, you got added some movies to your watch list, so it's
Yeah, especially something older like that. I really like that stuff.
Yeah, cool, very cool. Also joining me tonight from the Flesh Wound Features YouTube channel, Dan. What's going on, Dan?
What's up, Piz? How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I think the Winnie the Pooh graphic might have scared off the other patrons tonight, but I'm here. You get the B guy here. So there you go.
You just have to go like this, and bees come out of nowhere and attack people. That's just all you got to do. Just that.
Yes. But good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to see you, man. Good to see you. Let's see. Also joining me. There's Geriatric Geek in the chat. Geek, hop on, man. Also joining me tonight, we have someone named Lon. I don't know anyone named Lon, but we'll just bring him on to see. Oh, it's Lon.
How are you?
Lon grooming company wanting to promote.
I'm sorry. That was garbled for me. I don't know if it was for anyone else.
Oh, I was going to say I thought it was maybe like a lawn grooming company.
It's a lawn care service. That's my new life. I'm going to go out there with gardening shears and make everyone's life a little bit more maintained.
Well, I mean,
right after I drown myself or piss in a toaster.
I've heard that's not a good idea. The pissing in a toaster.
It can solve a lot of problems. How are you doing, Piz, man?
Probably all your problems. But
one foul swoop.
Yeah, I'm doing good. How have you been?
I've been okay. Life is starting to finally slow down after the last few months of insanity, and hopefully I can get back into a regular flow of existing.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. We may have a couple other people join us during the course of the night. We'll just wait and see. Chester says he added The Girl Next Door to his watch list thanks to my recommendation. I'm glad. That's a dark one. Prepare yourself.
Don't stop with the movie. Go back to the Ketchum novel.
Yeah.
It's if you want to go even darker.
It's rough.
But yeah, that's a dark one. That is a dark one.
That is actually getting a new Blu-ray, I believe, from Ronin Flicks. Also,
good.
The Lost, another Jack Ketchum flick, is also getting a new Blu-ray. So both of those are great novels. Check them out.
How about any plans to get a decent release of Red out there at any point while we're on Ketchum?
I haven't heard anything specifically about Red. That is an amazing book. I mean, pretty much anything Ketchum did.
I mean, it was adapted and no one noticed.
It was, and Tom Sizemore, one of his best later career performances.
Absolutely.
Robert Englund's in it, I believe, if I remember right. Or might have had a small part in it.
Yeah, it's basically a cameo.
Yeah, but still, you'd think it'd get a little more attention.
Yeah, it's like no one knows that movie.
But definitely excited for The Lost and Girl Next Door getting new Blu-rays. That's exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, have you guys seen anything good lately, bad lately, indifferent?
Well, I have it on good authority that Lauren has purchased the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey mask, and that's what's going to replace Jason in the background.
Okay, that's not a bad idea, I think.
That's not going to happen. That movie was unwatchable.
But
I somehow got through it, but I know you want to wait. You want to hold on.
We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it.
Dan's trying to get me off the rails already, which isn't very hard to do to begin with.
I will lead off because I watched something brand new just last night. I don't know what came over me, but I thought, let's watch that new Children of the Corn movie. And then 90 minutes later, I said, man, I just wasted 90 minutes of my life. Like, what was I thinking?
And that's not exactly a new Children of the Corn experience, is it? Because really?
No. Because I heard that it's bad, but like I wanted to give it something of because it's Kurt Wimmer wrote and directed it. Kurt Equilibrium. Yeah. Wimmer wrote and directed it. And like you watch that movie and it's like it took them literally the entire first act to do what the original film did in the first 5 minutes. And there's just there's no creep factor. It's just so boring. It's overly dramatic. It's just like so bad. So just stop with Children of the Corn now. Just stop.
What do you think it is with Children of the Corn that they can't get a decent movie out of it? Because I mean, 3 is a fun B movie, but they really haven't had a good Children of the Corn.
It's a minor Stephen King short story that appeared in a men's magazine for cash.
Yeah,
that's the problem. There's not enough material for a feature there. I've always said they should go into the Lovecraftian side of the original story, which is like basically the last 4 pages of the story, because at least that hasn't been mined to death. But just to kill our kids with a weird religion aspect, oh my god, we don't need this many movies to explore that territory. It was never that creative.
It's not even a religion in the new movie. Like it's not even like they're they don't even go that far in this one. Like he who walks is there, but it's not like it's a religion. It's not like they don't even take it to that level. It's just like these
eco horror basically this time. They're destroying the environment and the kids. I will say that courtroom scene, some of the worst acting I have ever seen in a movie, period.
Is it a remake or a prequel or
just
reimagining? I guess you could call it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the worst, but it's probably bottom 2, I think.
Well, I know there was another remake
that's
that
rough.
I didn't see that one. I don't even know how many Children of the Corn movies there are now. I've completely just not even paid attention. But for some reason, that one I was like, let's just watch it. And yeah, my goodness, like what in the world?
Well, The Mangler is a short story too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I know that one's not viewed as all that, but they had to stretch that one out. And I feel like it has something there. You know?
The Mangler is a mess as well, but it's a glorious mess because it's Toby Hooper at the height of his cocaine madness putting something on screen. Still being able to get into theaters with theatricals, so it's a moment to watch, right? But I mean, that's a bad movie too, but it's bad in a much better way.
That's good.
I don't think any of the Children of the Corn films really turn any of my gears. Any of them, even the original, to be honest with you, is kind of a dull film.
It sucks.
It's not great.
Yeah, I think that's one of the few series where the sequel or the third movie is actually the best of the series.
There are some of the sequels I enjoy. I do like the second one. I like it. I don't remember much about the third one though. And I remember liking the sixth one. But like beyond that, they all just kind of, I don't know. I need to revisit the third one. I don't remember which one is that. Urban Harvest, or
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, okay, Urban Harvest. That's the fun dumb B movie. I'll give that one that. And that's really the best Children of the Corn movie in my opinion. It's not a high bar, but
yeah, they went into the city, or like a couple of kids did, and they start planning in like an abandoned factory or something like that.
You know what Children of the Corn should be? Very seriously. There should be a film called Night Shift, which adapts 4 short stories from that collection, and Children of the Corn should be one of those. It should be a half hour long. It should just stick to the story exactly, and it'd probably be a lot of fun. But it's a minor story in that anthology. It's not one of the major standout, hey, Stephen King was at the top of his game stories. I mean, it's just not.
Wasn't Maximum Overdrive, wasn't that a short story too?
It's Trucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But Trucks is meant to be ridiculous. And the problem is, like, I think he thought he was making a ridiculous thing, but it was marketed as something serious. So people went in with one expectation. I like Maximum Overdrive. It's a train wreck of a movie, but he wanted to make a train wreck of a movie. He wanted to make a B movie. You want to see Emilio Estevez try and barter a deal with a truck? That's the only place you're going to see it.
Didn't he direct? Stephen King direct that one?
Sort of.
He did.
I think Michael Gormick might have something to say on the subject at some point. But
remember the old "I'm going to scare the hell out of you"
trailer.
That didn't age well. What's up, Horror Orban? Thank you for the $2 super chat, sir. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's a funny trailer. I don't think that would be proof that maybe Stephen King did not direct it. He had no idea what he's talking about. He just assumed it was
probably just doesn't remember any of it.
Well, that's true. That's true too.
It's a curious film too, because there's scenes that are directed so flat and don't have enough coverage, like they're incompetently made. And then there's other sequences that are really well put together. And yeah, editing can smooth out a lot, but if you don't have the footage to begin with, that doesn't matter. It's just a weird movie. It feels like 2 people directed it, which I think might be the answer.
I do want to point out that Jess, there are 9 in the original series and 2 reimaginings, reboots, remakes. 11 movies. So I mean, at this point, you've tried to reboot it twice or reimagine it twice. Just let it go.
Just going to point out that no one has ever adapted The King in Yellow, but we have 11 Children of the Corn movies. That's the world we live in.
Don't quite get why we haven't had somebody tackle that. Tons of literature and homages to it, but no movie.
Killer Cutie wants to know, hate or love Thinner?
Somewhere in between. I kind of liked it when I was a kid as a dumb movie, but that might be more my love for Kari Wurr than anything else, to be honest. I actually have
that.
that.
The best reason to defend the film I've ever heard.
Yeah. It's a dumb movie, but yeah, it's fun. Dumb fun.
It's better than the film that dramatically remade it by borrowing all of its story beats called Drag Me to Hell. But it's not great. But it's the worst of the 5 Bachman books too. So
yeah, that's definitely not.
That doesn't help it.
High on the Stephen King.
Are we gonna get that Rage adaptation anytime soon?
I do not think we're gonna get Rage.
We can't even get the bookend print. Are you kidding?
So I will tell you guys, if you ever see a hardcover of Rage on its own, I have it in that Bachman Books 4 novel collection, but Rage on its own, what is that, like $1,000 now?
For the American book, you can find, because it's still in print some places in the world.
Yeah, but that original like American like first edition of that is insane.
Well, it didn't sell either at the time. Like the first 4 Bachman books before the news broke that Bachman was king, they didn't sell well. So Thinner came out with the knowledge of what the pseudonym was. So that book sold well, and it's the worst of the bunch, which is the sad part about that.
Yeah,
it's just and that's not really fair. There's things about Thinner that really are great in the book, but it's the most formulaic thing I think he ever did in that time period, maybe in its entire career.
It's weird that Revival, and maybe somebody has it now. People are always adapting King, but Revival's really probably the best of his modern, more recent stuff. And that one's actually, if you're going to read something from King, Revival. You're not missing a whole lot with the recent books, but Revival would be the one of the last decade to check out.
And I'd have to agree. I'd say I'm somewhere in the middle with Thinner. It's been a long time since I last saw it, but I remember liking it, but it's not great. There's a lot of over the top acting and just but it's fun in that over the top kind of way, So yeah, it's been a while. But I remember
works better as a short,
Yeah.
A good creep show episode.
Thank you, Dave O, for the $5. Don't worry about it, man. We'll get you next time. There'll be a next time. But thank you, appreciate that. Have you guys seen anything else you want to mention?
I saw John Wick Volume 4 or Chapter 4 or Part 4 or the 4th John Wick.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I saw that too.
I heard it's getting good reviews.
It's a big John Wick movie. So my problem with the whole series is this: they're all fun while you're watching it, but I dare you to be able to pinpoint what happens in any single film from a plot move. I mean, you can say, okay, the third one's one where there's a lot of dogs, right, attacking people, but like they just blend together really easy. They're very similar movies. This is probably the best since the original, but whatever that means. And in 6 months, I might not be able to tell it apart either.
I think his kill count's over 200 now.
Oh, it's probably over 200 in this movie.
Yeah.
That was probably, before this movie. I think it was over 200.
I've heard nothing but rave things about John Wick 4. I think they're doing another one. It's already made like damn near $100 million in its opening weekend. So I mean, there's going to be a lot more, but it's like, how many people are going to be left for him to kill? He's already wiped out,
One dog dies, and man,
I thought they were going to be brave and take out another dog in this movie, but spoilers.
If they did, I mean, that just means there's going to be 8 more movies.
Yeah,
that just means like the last movie will just be him holding the button and he goes boom, and the whole planet just explodes.
I'm telling you,
8 more genocides.
I'm telling you, the end of the last time they do this has to be him standing on a pile of bodies that's about like 2 stories high. He has to be up at the top. He just drop the gun to the ground and go, "I'm done." Yeah. And at that time, a bee
Drops
lands
the
on his
dog's
no. A bee lands on his shoulder and stings him, and he drops dead. That's how it needs to end. Nothing could get him up to this point, but he gets taken out by an insect.
A little anaphylactic shock. That's what did it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
This movie does make some moves, though. I will say that. I mean, although
Kind of, maybe. They're going to undo all of it.
Yeah, I think it will be. But Donnie Yen was cool. It's always great seeing Donnie Yen.
The Better Tomorrow reference in the third act is so good.
Yeah.
If you love early John Woo, there's a lot in this film with his character to love.
If you like John Wick, you're gonna love the movie.
Yeah, but it's not surprising in any sense. It's a John Wick movie.
Don't you think it's cool that this is lighting up the box office though right now, when I think superhero movies need to take a back seat? We talked about this the other day, Lauren. I want the return of the just tough, hard ass action star that we just don't have anymore. You could argue whether that's really Keanu Reeves at the end of the day, but that sort of character we just don't have. And I'm glad to see that this is doing so well.
Yeah, so I mean, it did 73 million at the box office in the weekend. That seems to be the settled number. Just that's a huge number. It's a Titanic number, and it's funny because Shazam comes out with a whimper, and I know one's gonna like this in the chat, so go ahead and just hate me. Scream comes out to a great opening weekend, and is dead at the moment. It didn't have any legs to it. So the reality is John Wick might be the secret sauce, that kind of hard-edged action with a likable, bankable star who's still a movie star.
He's getting a little bit old, though. Isn't he like
compared
50s?
Yeah. I'm going to take offense to that.
He still looks good, and he can clearly still go.
There's action stars 20 years older than him still doing it.
Yeah, I mean, 30 years older than him, probably.
I mean, Bronson was
Liam Neeson, right?
Bronson was like 70 when he was doing Death Wish 5. So I mean,
I listen, and I know that Keanu Reeves, like the reputation is that he does all of his own fighting and stunts. But to be honest with you, as long as the film's good, I'm not even sure if that's an important characteristic of it, really. I think you could use really stunt doubles and digital makeup to probably make it fine. I'm glad it's doing well. I did enjoy it. I don't mean to make it sound like that. It's just I do feel that these are pretty much like the same movie every few years we go to say.
Did the 3 hour runtime at all an issue?
It didn't feel well. It's 2 hours 40 minutes. It didn't feel 2 hours and 40 minutes to me. But I'd say like this is very comparable to the Indian action film Dakad in a lot of ways. That film feels tighter to me than this. That just feels like a better film in a lot of ways. It swings for a lot more fences, but this doesn't feel like. I mean, I don't know. It feels like a 2 hour movie. I think you're fine.
Yeah,
it's kinetic enough. There was a point whereas in the films, as it enters its third act, where it's a kind of a race against the clock. Like he has to get to a place by a time. Oh, okay. And they keep throwing roadblocks up, and there might be a little bit too much of that there. But it's all good action in that in those sequences. It's just at a certain point you're like, can we get to the climax that you promised, an hour ago? So maybe that will trip up some people. But I think maybe watching it at home might be a little bit more comfortable too. I don't know. But go to the theater, support this thing.
Yeah, and you may see a trailer for a new Finnish film called Sisu, Sisu. If you want to watch that Red Band trailer out there, this looks like the next big revenge movie. It looks amazing. Okay. So much fun. It's definitely one of my most anticipated now. It's a World War II themed revenge movie, and it looks bonkers.
It's called what now?
Sisu.
Sisu, Sisu. That name may not sell you, but watch the trailer because it absolutely will.
It's an American film?
Finnish, from Finland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna check out the trailer.
Yeah.
It'll sell you the moment when you see the trailer. There's not a question.
Sure
Now-
thing if you like revenge movies. Yeah.
But that even makes it sound very personal, and it doesn't even seem like that. It seems more like a hobo with a shotgun with a budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
That was pretty entertaining. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Okay.
I don't
You
think we
sold
need
me.
Sisu 2, Sisu harder though. I think it should be a one-off.
Yeah.
Well, I know we've only got limited time with Dan, so I do want to dive into not so much talking about the movie Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, although we can talk about it a little bit, but I want to talk more about the extreme reactions that people have had to the film. And I don't just mean love it or hate it, but I mean like sending the people behind the movie death threats, or telling them that they should off themselves, or and it's got to be. I mean, is it just Winnie the Pooh? Are people that connected to Winnie the Pooh that seeing Winnie the Pooh with some blood on him and shoving people into a wood chipper, is that really gonna turn them homicidal?
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna kick your door in. # not my piglet. It's wild. Yeah, death threats over this, still silly little B movie is crazy to me.
Mhm,
Absolutely crazy. And there's a lot you can criticize in Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, but yeah, it's not worth threatening somebody's life over. That's just absolutely ridiculous. And love it or hate it, I mean, it's an interesting time we're in, that something like this that wasn't even meant for a theatrical release. And I'm very curious to hear more about the making of the movie. Can make noise at the box office. It is insane to me. It's wonderful once again to see these indie horror films get a chance to perform. Terrifier 2, Winnie the Pooh, even something like Skinamarink, and I wasn't a fan of that one, but yeah, the fact that I can go see something like that at my local AMC is just wonderful.
It is a great time, because I mean, even 3 years ago, definitely 5 years ago, there's no way Terrifier 2 would be in theaters. Skinamarink, this movies like I mean, a lot of these little indie horror flicks are getting theatrical releases, and big ones, and making decent money.
Not since the mid 90s, at least, have we seen this.
Yeah.
This was my big hope, and you guys can go back to the region free episodes, right? When at the early pandemic, I was saying that this was my hope, is that because the big guys aren't releasing stuff, that the indies would get in there, make some money, and that when everything got back to normal, we'd still have a legacy there of taking chances on smaller films. And I'm overjoyed that at least some of that is coming true. I still think there's a resistance. I mean, it's great that AMC and Cinepolis and some of the larger chains are taking chances, but I constantly am being told by people who don't live in big metro areas or close to big metro areas that they're not getting this stuff. So we're not quite there yet, but it's better than it's been in a long, long, long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I will say about death threats, I hate to say this, but everyone needs to put on their big boy panties. That, I mean, so what? Someone told you they're going to kick your ass for being in a movie. I mean, unless it's a really credible threat. And by the way, a credible threat probably isn't being made on Twitter. I think we should all just be adults and laugh and point at those people for their bad behavior. Not don't encourage anyone, but by the same rate, who gives a shit? I'm sure if there was a platform in the 1970s, there'd been death threats over Charlotte's Web.
Yeah.
Oh, the novel's one of my favorites, and they ruined it as a movie. So whatever. I think that we were way too sensitive as people. Way too.
Well,
sensitive.
I mean, didn't Silent Night, Deadly Night? They went through the same thing. Maybe not death threats.
Well, right. But there, the releasing company was stoking that for the publicity pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
You saying it was exaggerated then?
I'm saying they were paying people to protest their own movie.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But why do you think this movie in particular? Because like I've gotten so many comments on my review of people saying, "Well, this is the only positive review I've seen." Like everybody's trashing the movie, and on top of that, it's like people are taking it seriously, or they're taking it personally, like the movie's a personal attack on them or something. It's not just another bad horror movie to people. It's like a bad horror movie that has really affected them in some deep way. And I don't get that.
I guess it's a childhood thing, you know. I mean, nobody is going to mistake Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey for a typical Winnie the Pooh film. So I don't quite get it. The internet's a weird place, though. Like, we have our association with XPW, or kind of like the Outlaws of Wrestling, and we've started to see more and more of these bizarre comments, and not threats so much, but just hatred for no reason. Don't watch it. You don't have to go watch Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey.
Remember that in order to clutch pearls, you have to be able to afford pearls. So,
yes,
you know, people who are worried about their regular lives and aren't tied to the internet and very comfortable, they're not out there complaining about this movie. They're just not. So it's just very first world film problems. I would say if people want to be really upset, go see Unicorn Wars. I love that movie. It's the darkest, most nihilist thing that looks like a kid's movie, but is definitely not a kid's movie. You could possibly experience.
Yeah,
oh
that
my
one
God.
I did.
Seeing that in a theater, which is what you were talking about, Piz, like the Unicorn Wars came to the theater. That's a film about teddy bears forming a military to hunt and kill the unicorns to expel them from the magic forest because they want it back. And the unicorns may gore a whole lot of teddy bears. There may be full frontal teddy bear nudity. There may be There may be hallucinogenic drug use in the film. It might have one of the darkest, bleakest endings in cinema history. I loved it. So if
this is a movie about unicorns
and teddy bears. There is a decapitated unicorn within the first 10 minutes of the film.
I'm adding it to my watch list.
I want to see this movie.
Wars. Wrote it down.
It's animated. It's basically the Care Bears versus My Little Pony with horns, right? But it's phenomenal. I loved it.
I've got to see it then.
It's going to traumatize a whole generation the way Watership Down or the Plague Dogs did.
We've got Rambo Ref Matt in the chat. What's up, Matt? Hope you're doing well. I was kind of joking about getting canceled when I did the Sunday night stream on Sunday, based on my picks for movies that I love that everybody else hated. I was canceled by the chat. I put up a poll and everybody canceled me. So
I voted for you to be canceled.
I'm sure you can't vote for one of the guests to be canceled. You got to vote for me. So, but it's just a joke. It was just a joke. Ben brings up a good point. People get offended too much by other people's opinions, in his opinion, and that's true. That's true.
I think too, with social media, it's so easy now to say things without a consequence. You know, you could just hide behind the internet and just say whatever to people, and there's no consequence for it. You know, people get death threats for counting votes, you know, so it's like you could just throw anything out there at somebody and be anonymous, you know. So
yeah, this is true. And I've been in touch with a couple of different people who worked on Blood and Honey, and I've spoken to them about the threats and the polarizing effect of the movie, and they're taking it in stride, put it that way. So yeah.
Well, they got the sequel coming out probably next year, so
yep, and they got a lot more money for the sequel too, so it should be interesting. I liked it. Dan, I know you liked it. Lauren, I know you disliked it. John, Swaggy, have you seen it?
No, I have not. I did watch your review of it,
okay,
but no, I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I'm so jealous of you.
If anybody in the chat has seen it, let us know your thoughts. Yeah. Nico says I was redeemed by The Fly too. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Gotta throw some love out there to The Fly too.
You know, something that I did finally watch that I know y'all have talked about is Prey on Hulu.
Oh, okay.
I finally saw that like 2 days ago, and it exceeded my expectations. It was better than what I thought. You know, I'm not going, it's the best Predator, obviously, but because that first one is a all-time classic. But it was entertaining, you know.
It's been a slower year than the past few years, to be honest. I did see a Shudder original called Spoonful of Sugar that I enjoyed. If you want something a little bit on the darker side, Holy Spider still ranks high. Some people might consider that more of a true crime thing than a horror thing, but it's a really, really good movie, good serial killer movie. But yeah, I've seen some just okay movies. The Lake I was excited for. That's a new kaiju movie, and that was not good at all. So I've been disappointed as much as I've been, you know, surprised this year, unfortunately.
How did you feel about Brandon Fraser winning?
Oh, well, 100% deserved it. That performance for The Whale is just, I mean, I've talked to people in this community that it made cry that do not cry during movies. I don't think it'll make Lauren cry.
I'm not going to even have this conversation because you guys' nostalgia is too strong. So just pass me by.
Not because of nostalgia. Not because of nostalgia.
I just don't like him as an actor. I don't like basically anything he's ever done. So I don't see this as going to be a win for me.
Have you seen Encino Man?
Yes.
Have you? Okay. All right.
So that's why I've chosen to I'm just going to turn off my mic and I'll just watch you guys talk about it.
I've not seen The Whale yet, but I am going to see it eventually. I'm happy for Brendan Fraser because don't forget, not that long ago, I mean, he was pretty much blacklisted. He was canceled. Look, he's not canceled for doing anything. He had something bad done to him, and when he went public, he was pretty much blacklisted because of it. So I'm happy for the guy. Good for him.
Yeah, I've never been the biggest fan of his. I've seen his movies, but that performance was out of nowhere for me. I was like, wow, he really went for that. I mean, it was really impressive.
Good.
And it wasn't just him. The other the other female I guess supporting actress was really good as well. Yes, she was excellent. You know, he had a good cast around him as well. So
he did.
And a good director.
Morton. Yeah,
good director. Nico says Lauren, horror indies are like plasma for the chains. I think they'll hang in there. P.S. I'm wearing my big boy panties that came in a slipcase.
I'm proud of you, I think.
Can we cancel Lawn instead of PS? Go ahead. Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Do you think that you'd be the first?
Listen, Lauren's been canceled more times than you name the show.
That's right. I've been canceled more times than there's notches on the bedpost, if you know what I'm saying.
All righty. All right. I do. I think Blood and Honey's got a Blu-ray that's coming out in April, sometime in April, I think.
Oh, good. That's going to really benefit the film.
If you don't like that, Lauren, there is more Winnie the Pooh horror. The Call of Cthulhu is a book.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
So.
I did see that new slasher. I almost forgot about it. Killing Her Goats or Killing All Her Goats.
Killer Goats with
that one
Kill
was
Her Goats.
Kill Her Goats.
Goats.
Yeah.
That one was not good.
There's a lot of naked people. Is like that's about it.
That helped it. That certainly helped keep my attention. But other than that, like even I know like one of the big selling points is Kane Hodder is goat head or goat face or whatever. If you didn't tell me that was Kane Hodder, I wouldn't have known. Because I mean, it's not like
yeah,
yeah.
it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's simplistic, but hunter killer, I thought that was pretty good. It's just by the numbers, female janitor getting hunted in a warehouse. It's nothing you haven't seen before. There's no grand twist, but that I had fun with. So
yeah,
if you're looking for a stalk / survival sort of thing, I thought that was good. I don't know when the Blu-ray's coming out yet, though.
Okay.
Last thing I saw in the theater was Knock at the Cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And, that filmmaker has done some excellent stuff, and then some other stuff that's like, that's whatever. I'll tell you, Batista really surprised me. Like,
he's good.
Yeah,
he's a good actor.
For him to where he came from to what he is now is really something.
He really is. He surprised me a lot in Blade Runner 2047. He's got a small role in that, but I thought he was really good.
Yeah, there's a short film with this character too that expands upon his arc in that movie. Mm-hmm. I love Blade Runner 2049. I think it's an amazing movie. Yeah, I don't know. It's just not been a fantastic year. Knock at the Cabin. It's weird because I didn't love the book either, but they do take out something in the book that I think would have had a lot more impact in the movie. So it's kind of frustrating. I don't love either, but if you're totally unfamiliar with the book, it's a passable movie, I suppose. The acting is great, but I was still somewhat disappointed. It removed the impact that one particular thing in the book had.
It's a pretty big thing in the book, though.
Pretty big thing in the book, yes. The book, some people, the ambiguous ending, they weren't as big on, and they changed that here.
It's not Tremblay's best. It's not.
No, it's definitely not his best. Somehow his most famous still, but even before the movie. But yeah, I don't know. They totally ignored him.
Is it something that's too graphic, or like is it too?
It changes the stakes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a character moment. I won't give it away, but it's a character that they do something with in the book that Hollywood is just not known for doing in a bigger movie.
Yeah, I've never read the book, so
okay, yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. If you love the movie, I suppose I could recommend checking out the book just for a frame of reference, but he does have better stories. In the same universe as well.
Yeah.
I want to bring up, and listen, I am so burnt out on Scream 6, but part of the reason why I want to bring it up is to talk about the burnout and what I think's facilitated it. But and Lauren, I know you were a big fan, but Dan, let's remind everybody, what was your thoughts on Scream 6?
It's a Scream movie. There's nothing much to really crap on about it. I mean, I think the final act is the weakest part of the movie for me. I know a lot of other people have said the same thing. People surviving kind of ridiculous amounts of stab wounds, considering this is grounded in reality, I suppose, somewhat. If you like the Scream movies, there's another one. It's not going to be on my top 10, but I gave it a decent review. I don't crap on these movies just to crap on them.
Swaggy, what'd you think of Scream 6?
Well, I want to ask, what was your ranking of it, Dan? I know you do like a 5-point scale. Was it?
I think I gave it, for a Scream movie, because I always do things on kind of a curve. I think I gave it a 3.5 because I don't know what else you could expect from Scream at this point.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. What are they going to hit you with?
Yeah. I mean, it's a better time than Megan. I don't get the Megan love personally.
I don't either. Me neither.
That one.
Scream 6 hadn't it? It's made over 100 million. I mean, for what that's
Domestically, no.
Oh, it's not? Okay. I thought
Worldwide, but that's a bunch of different companies sharing. So that's not a thing.
And then how much do you think it was to make that? Do you know?
Oh, it's 32. I think that's pretty much established. It made money. That's not the question. But what people don't understand is you can't look at movies that way. Investors go into these films with a reasonable expectation of what they're getting out the other side. So if you invest in a complete unknown property, you have a certain level of expectation. If it's a series that has regularly tripled its value, you go in with a different expectation. If last year's film was one of the bigger hits in the genre for the year, you're betting that you're going to make even more, not less. That's what's actually important. Anyone who tells you that they understand the math of movies without knowing the actual balance sheet for an individual's film is just talking shit. They don't know what they're talking about.
Let me ask you, is it true that if you take half of what it takes to make the movie is how much they took to market it?
No.
Have you ever heard that before?
No, generally speaking, the people tell you to double the production value, the budget, and that'll give you the break-even point. That's such crap. It's not funny. It depends. There's a bunch of different ways to advertise. Did you partner with a company on your advertising? Or did the advertising happen at a time of the year when advertising is cheaper? Because that's definitely true. Generally speaking, they test these films in order to figure out what they can expect out of it. They're not going to spend more than they think they're going to get back. So if a film tests badly, they're going to spend way less. Also, like inside the horror genre, Blum understand that they can spend more than the films cost because the production budgets on their films traditionally are very low, right? So that throws the math out. But then on a project like a Star Wars or an Indiana Jones film, where the budget is huge, yeah, the advertising budget is going to be big. But it's not going to be $200 million.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be insane to do that. Yeah. Again, will they spend that much? Sure, but how much of it is partnership money? How much are your toy licensees putting into that pot? How much are there's a million ways these things can be financed out. That's why, like, anyone who tells you there's some rule of thumb, just don't even listen to them. It's just stupid.
Wasn't there some news recently about Marvel? I believe it could have been DC, maybe, but Marvel or DC that were sort of lying about budgets somewhat. Like there was like a 50 million, like certain films were not really as profitable as they were reporting.
That wouldn't surprise me because I mean they've made up other narratives and stuff to
So,
yeah.
Nico is asking a question about the theater to studio split. Actually, the way to look at that is the studios are not the same company technically as the distribution arms of that may share the same name. So it's a really complex thing, right? So the studio gets money from the distributor, but this distributor is the one who has to make the balance sheet work for the product between the exhibitor, which is the movie theater, and the studio that made the product, and the studio that made the product has to cut it between themselves and any independent financing or any bank loans that were put into place. There's completion bonds, for instance, that could be in place too, and that's money that's paid out over time. So you might not need to make that money back on opening weekend, but you know what? Your investors that you want to sell on the next project, you want to pay them back as fast as possible, and they want to have the deepest possible pockets. It's a really complex thing. But no, actually, the split is never as generous as you're talking about. The theaters on opening day of a major theatrical release from a major distributor are looking about making about between 9 and 14% of ticket face value. The rest goes back to the distributor on opening weekend. In subsequent weeks, it gets better for them, but less people go to see the movies in those following weeks. By week 5, if a movie's still playing, theaters can make tons of money per ticket, but they're not going to sell a lot of tickets. That's why concession stand prices need to be where concession stand prices need to be.
That's a topic for maybe another day. But I think what about like the Scream popcorn tub head things that everybody wanted? Make those available. more merch,
Yes.
make
Yeah.
those available
Every-
after the 3rd or 4th week of the movie being out. If it's still out, of course, you're banking on whether it's a hit.
Get rid of little arcade nooks in the side of the theater and replace it with a retail shop. I've said it for years.
Yeah, T-shirts, posters. I will
Comic
look.
books.
You can see a,
draw people in that way.
You imagine
Yeah.
when, it's a little late now, but in the height of the comic book movie phase, if every theater was selling comic books,
an
you
exclusive.
telling me every kid would want their dad to buy one?
Yeah.
The money they left on the table is just insane as an industry.
Look, so I'm obviously not the biggest Scream fan. I bought that cup. I thought that cup was cool. I've got it over there. It's awesome. People will impulse buy these things. My nephew, who saw John Wick 4 with me, he got the popcorn tub, and they had those really cool collectible coins in there. People are losing their minds. Go look at eBay right now for that stuff. I mean, people are just losing their minds.
Yeah.
More merch is huge. I would, if I left the theater for Dark and the Wicked or some recent movie that I loved, I will buy a poster 100%. I mean, you can just see a small, obviously I'm a collector.
Dan,
Get that
That's
money.
true. I wonder
Dan-
why they
Dan-
don't do that.
Dan,
Yeah.
let me tell you, it's been a concept I've thrown out a million times. But can you imagine a kiosk outside in the theater's lobby, right, where you come out, print on demand posters?
Yeah.
They could just load the file, you print it up, you'd get a 11 by 17 poster. It wouldn't be a full size, but it would be a poster.
Yeah.
What would it cost? Ink and licensing.
Yeah, it's not a ton of money to produce.
Yeah, you need
that.
one person.
Yeah.
Working the kiosks.
That's
And
you probably don't even need that.
Yeah.
You just
I
need
got-
them
I
hidden
got-
in the machine.
I got a better one for you. Why the hell did movie theaters not get into like a red box like business for owning movies?
Yeah.
So you show up to see Scream 6 and you don't own Scream 4 in the lobby. It's the right audience at the right time. I also think bundles are a big place where the industry is missing out. You should be able to walk up to the box office. Not that we all know you have to buy at the concession stand now, but in the old days it was at the box office. You walk up and say, I would like the A package for John Wick 4. And that gets you the drink, the popcorn, the movie. That's one price. You'd sell more that way. But the industry just loves a la carte for some reason. It doesn't make a bit of sense to me.
Yeah, I don't. And you're right. I don't think the arcades are a huge money maker anymore.
No.
Yeah, I don't ever see anybody at them.
No, not really. I mean, you get
the claw machine probably does better than the rest of the arcades.
Again, it's not a high cost thing for them to pull off at all. I don't think there's any risk, so I don't quite understand why they don't do it.
So on the other side of this coin, though, this is going to get me into a rant if I'm not careful, so I'll try not to. I'm sorry. I pay a ticket. I shouldn't deal with advertising inside that fucking theater.
Yes.
I don't want to see a Coke or a car commercial on the screen. Now, I'm kind of okay before the advertised showtime. Whatever you throw up there is not going to offend me. But if I'm buying a ticket for a 7 o'clock movie, at 7 o'clock, the trailers are fine. No Geico commercial. No, I'm sorry. That is wrong. Selling me a ticket to see something, that is the product.
Yes.
I think that needs to go away. And that's a big moneymaker for the theater. So something has to take its place. But it's pushing people away. I can tell you right now that especially the people who are younger than probably everyone in this chat right now, right? They're appalled by consumerism. They will not go to the theaters for this by itself.
I'm appalled by like Scream 6, for instance. Literally, I swear to God, it was 40 minutes of trailers and commercials before the movie started. It was ridiculous. Like I'm okay with trailers, but when you start showing me the Nationwide commercial or the freaking the hemorrhoid commercial, I don't that's for TV. That's not for the theater. You know what I mean? I get that they make money off that, but I can't stand it. Stand it. Oh,
Sell the sides of your Coke cups. That's fine. But
Yeah,
don't put it on the screen.
Put the hemorrhoid ad on the side of my Coke
Yeah.
cup. I don't want to see it on the screen.
One that I remember from years ago was a group of guys playing basketball, and it was for bod, like body spray, and it was like, "Oh, I love your bod." I don't know if y'all remember that at all.
Yeah.
That was like one of the first commercials I remember at a movie theater. And
The
now I
era
see
of supermodels will have sex with you.
Yeah.
Axbot spray.
Axbot, yeah, Jesus. Shout out to the Daily Ghost. Thank you for the $5 super chat, my friend. He says, Scream 6 to me is like what you get when you ask AI to spit out another sequel, cut and paste, blah, blah, painfully dull. Thank you for that, by the way, Ghost. And I hope the move has gone well. If you're still in the process of moving, hopefully you've got that kicked. I don't envy you for having to move. But yeah, my whole thing with Scream 6 was my expectations were low. All I wanted was a decent slasher, and that's what I got. I wasn't expecting anything above that, and I was perfectly happy. It's the same Scream movie, just in a different location. I definitely appreciated the lack of legacy characters. There were some great set pieces. There were some nice suspenseful moments. I mean, I give the movie kudos for those things, but if you're looking for them to, they're just not gonna. Radio silence is just not going to throw. They're not going to redefine what a Scream movie is.
What we need, put it in New York again. Scream 7. We CGI Joe Spinell, and he just kills all the legacy characters in the first 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Just shotgun blast to the head. Boom.
There you go. You've never met a ghost face like me.
No.
It would just be downhill after that.
So that mask could be sweaty.
Yes.
That's how you'd know it'd be Joe.
Mm-hmm. And he'd be eating like Cracker Jacks too, like reaching under his mask to put Cracker Jacks in his mouth.
They know he's coming. They smell the vodka.
I just wonder if we're doing ourselves any favors. Obviously I'm done with the big franchises. I'm just tired. I've seen these movies and they take up all the air in the conversation for months. But are we doing ourselves any favors by not embracing like the Terrifier 2s deeper than a Scream 6? I don't think we are. Even like you mentioned, Dark and the Wicked.
Yeah, no,
that film should be still something we're talking about all the time. It's that important to the genre, but it's going to end up being buried in people's memories, and yet people are going to talk about the Candyman reboot thing.
No,
still more commonly, and that's a problem as far as I see it.
Dark and the Wicked, Relic, yeah, Saint Maud, yeah, Empty Man, which has gotten a somewhat of a fan base recently.
It's a cult following. And it's solid, but the problem is that it's owned by Disney, and Disney want to do nothing with it.
Yeah.
Well, it isn't not a problem, but those are just one movie. Where Scream has like it spanned for so long. You have I don't want to say a universe.
Is that a good thing?
But well, I'd just say like it has more time. It's developed more. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that's probably a reason why. Why don't we talk about the hatchling? Well, there's one movie.
Is there really enough to talk about in a Scream movie or a Halloween movie at this point?
That is the perfect segue into Scream Burnout for me. And I don't want to be mean, but I don't understand how some people can make 19 videos on YouTube about Scream 6. I don't get it. And to me, that is it's so exhausting. Like you're burning out the fan base, you're burning out. I mean, I don't get it. That movie is, how do you get more than, a spoiler review and a non-spoiler review? What else is there about that movie? Even the hardcore fans have to be like, what? Come on.
You're not dissecting Eraserhead.
Yes, this is not. Exactly. Yes.
Gentlemen, I have to hop off, but it's been a pleasure. I will talk to you later.
Always good to see you, Dan. Take care, buddy.
Later, guys.
Be good, Dan.
I always want to see the autographs that he has on his wall.
He needs to do he needs to do a tour and just show off all of his stuff.
I saw like Gary Busey. Was it Gingerbread Man or
Well,
something?
you'll never get that opportunity again.
Yep, you're not going to get that opportunity again.
Nope.
That's true.
It's increased in value. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's since he kind of did some bad stuff. It's maybe decreased in value.
He's definitely not going to be doing very many conventions anymore, I don't think. But
So, okay, so there's a comment over here from Slash Home Video says, to be fair, you guys don't like Scream. A lot of the fans of the franchise can talk about it a lot longer. It's not a matter of that, really. I think that kind of misses Piz's point. The point is, these are formulaic body count thrillers. You can talk, you can fill the air with words on absolutely any subject. I can talk about bananas for a couple hours if you really want me to. Not there won't be a lot of content there, but I can fill words about bananas. The question is like, is it the healthiest thing for the community? He was talking about really the fatigue that comes with all the horror channels are talking about the same project over and over and over. And this happened with Halloween Ends and Kills, and this happened with Candyman, and it happened with the Child's Play reboot. It took up all the air for so long. And I got to be honest with you, I never click on those videos. In fact, I've unsubscribed from channels if they won't move on from things, just because I don't want to be annoyed. I think there's a lot of robust conversations to be had in the genre because it's a great. This genre is the best for having variety, for having different types of movies of all different levels. We're just hungry for us to talk about something else. I think that's what it comes down to. There's not that much to say about these movies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I did like Scream 6, Chris. But it's just like I don't know. There's just not that much really to dissect there, or like all the what I learned early on when it comes to fan theories. The fan theories are always going to be so much better than what we get. So when you set your hopes based on a fan theory, they're not going to be met. They're just not going to be met because especially with something like Scream, they're not going to mix things up now. Not at all.
Yeah, what I realized is because I was very excited about the first of the new films, the one that's called Scream, that's Scream 5, I guess.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But because I love Radio Silence, I really love those guys. Ready or Not, I think, is an incredibly important film to the genre, and it's up there for me. It's in my top 50 films of all time. I love that movie. So when they were coming on board, I foolishly and naively thought maybe they were going to do something really big and dramatic and cool with the concept. I think a lot of us were. And we got just another Scream movie. And for the hardest core of Scream fans, that's cool. That's exactly what they wanted. But what we missed, what we didn't see there, how do you, after you make that big change and do something cool and strange and bizarre and out of left field, do you go back and make another one after it? You don't. You don't change to new Coke if you're just going to have to change back to the original formula. Mm-hmm. So they just didn't do new Coke. And that's a disappointment for me because I had listen, the 4 Scream films that came before that were more than enough for me. If you never made another one, I was fine. I would have been fine if we erased a few of them. So, but to me, I was excited because I was hoping for that big new, and I didn't get that. So what do we have to talk about if we're just talking about films that feel like the last one that have the same problems? Hey, people don't go on killing rampages over any of this shit, right?
You get to do a new ranking video. That's what you get to do.
Well, my ranking video is like
where does it fall?
It's a flat line.
That you get to do a trailer breakdown. You get to do a first reaction. Like man. Fan theories that you thought was going to happen, but it didn't. What this means? Where do they go from here? What about the next one?
and this is the reason why I find myself watching videos about bridge collapses in 1920 on YouTube rather than horror channels. I hate to say that, but it's true. Like if you cover something I'm unaware of or is about your perspective about something from your youth or something, I'm all in. I'm there. I love that. if we talk about the most recent movie that came out in a long-running franchise, I kind of assume that it's not going to hold my interest. I just don't click. And that's even if a friend puts up those videos. No offense, Piz. I love when you're covering like the deep cut shit that you love from your childhood. That gets the click instantaneously. When you're covering like the new stuff, it takes a while to get there. That's the truth. And that's just a personal preference, but it's real.
Let's segue from that into the canceled poll. And we've got 52 votes. And Dan, the hero, only has 12% of the votes. Swaggy has 15. What did Swaggy do to deserve canceling? Oh my goodness. I've got
Savage.
20. I know, savage. Listen.
What did that do?
I've got 25% of the vote, and Lauren's got 48% of the vote.
On brand.
On brand. Oh, geez. So yeah, let's move on from Scream. But yeah, I was so burnt out on Scream literally after opening weekend because it's just Scream, all social media, Scream. It's like, okay, all right.
Oh, well, then you also do the video on Final Girls, and you incorporate the new, Ortega in, there's so many different avenues to go.
Yeah. You rank the masks. You rank you rank the knives.
Kills. You rank the kills.
Yeah.
And this is
the opening scenes.
This is how I know we're living in a simulation, because this does not happen in a sane universe.
It is. It unfortunately is. Well, here's something else that's not gonna listen. If you think we're living in a simulation, let me just share this with you. Hold on one second here. If you've been on Blockbuster's website recently, and I know everybody visits that website probably every day, you probably saw this message. We are working on rewinding your movie. And that has led to quite a bit of speculation as to whether or not Blockbuster Video is making a comeback. And I guess that the question is, are we excited for a Blockbuster comeback? And how long is that comeback going to,
what's the comeback?
That's a good question. I don't know.
It's going to be a streaming service.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's what leapt to my mind, but that's not what people are thinking online. It seems like people are thinking like we're going to get some more brick and mortar stores opening, and it's going to be the old school, video rental place. And it's like, there's
no money.
There's no market.
You have to pay rent and employees and healthcare. It's not going to happen, guys.
Mm-hmm.
There is that one last store in Oregon,
right? Yeah.
And a streaming service. If they could copy Tubi's formula, that would be a good way to go. Throw the ads in there.
I think they're going to go the opposite direction. I think. And I don't know anything, just to be clear about this, but my speculation would be that they're going to go for the premium stuff and try and get, you're going to be able to rent it as a premium earlier on them.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going to do. They're going to kind of be the premium service, so you're going to pay more. Remember during the early days of the pandemic where they were throwing out like $20 rentals and people balked, but then people did it?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the model they're looking at.
So yeah, I don't know if it can.
Are they just taking the name? What? Yeah. What else would you? Why would you call it Blockbuster?
That's a good. It's got to be like somebody said it in the chat. They're riding the nostalgia train. It'll be it was Matt Rambo Raff. It'll be a streaming service, and maybe they'll have some good premium stuff. That would be great. That'd be awesome. But it's the nostalgia. It's the nostalgia.
What year did they end? I wonder. Because it's like if it happened 20 years ago. Well, probably not 20 years ago.
Looks like 2014.
Okay, that's more recent than what I thought. It would be like what's Blockbuster? You know, like,
Well, there might be a lot of people out there like, exactly, what is Blockbuster? What are we talking about here? Well, Chester says he heard they're opening 5 stores between LA and San Diego. Okay, all right.
They're going to open their stores in the least business friendly state in the country. This is off to a great start, friends.
Blockbuster Plus. That's what about this? What about if Blockbuster, the streaming service, creates some sort of exclusive where it's kind of like the day and date stuff, but only on Blockbuster streaming?
That's what I think you're really close. I don't think it'll be day and date, but I think it's going to be like 30 days out. You know, I really think they're going to try and get studio deals in, because just another streaming service is not a winning strategy right now. They're all trying to struggle just to keep pace, but I think that's happening. I think it's going to be the kind of a premium rental spot.
Now that makes it interesting. That makes it interesting to me if it's going to be, if they have premium stuff like that, or those kind of premium offers. Yeah, that would make it a little interesting to me. But I don't know. They've got to do more. They've got to do more, because just about every movie after a month is already on streaming too.
yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, I mean, it's like, what are they offering that another one wouldn't? You know, I don't see them coming. Well, I don't know, maybe exclusive movies or something like that you have to go through their streaming to get.
Yeah,
it really depends. I mean, do the studios need this? That's what it's going to come down to, because obviously Disney's not playing ball because they have their own avenue, but the other guys possibly.
Chrissy, yes, you missed our Blood and Honey talk, but once the stream is archived on my channel, you can go back and check it out. So yeah, I just don't think the old-fashioned brick and mortar video stores outside of a few outliers, they're too far gone. It's too late,
Yeah, I mean, retail stores are struggling because they don't need a physical location. I mean, I shouldn't say struggling, but some of them are. It's like you just order it online. You don't even walk in.
It's true. Let's bring on somebody who I think is hopefully this person can make some sense out of this whole thing. He is the voice of reason, or maybe he'll bring a voice of reason to this. It's the tallest Chris. How's it going? You're muted.
What's up, guys?
What's up, man?
Nothing, just showing up right at the end here when all the topics have already been covered.
Bring some sense to this whole thing, Chris.
The Blockbuster thing?
Just to anything in general.
I mean, it all means nothing, guys. That's about all you can say, really.
So you, Chris, I know you live in. I know you're a Kentuckian like myself. I don't know exactly where you live, but from hearing you talk about, you live in sort of a more rural area. Is that right?
Yeah, it's called bumfuck.
Okay. I've driven through that area of Kentucky.
Yeah,
I've driven through there. So do you remember when the last video store in your area closed?
Yeah, it was 2013 Blockbuster. I mean, if you're not counting Family Video, it was Blockbuster. And yeah, like I was a regular there. It was a sad day. I miss it. But I also, like, before that, missed the mom and pop. So it's kind of like a circular thing,
Whenever they closed, did you go in and buy some of what they were selling?
Not at Blockbuster. I did at Family Video when they closed. But no, when Blockbuster closed, I was sad, but I wasn't like, I didn't have the forethought to go in there. I wish I did. Buy a bunch of, like, signs and stuff. That would have been pretty dope.
When my local Ma and Pa video store closed down, the guy put up had a bunch of his old stuff for sale, his VHSs and stuff, and But he wanted, I mean, he knew Rad was out of print, so he wanted $80 for that freaking VHS. I'm like, dude, come on, dude, come on, or something, It was like I tried to get Rad. I tried to get. There were a couple others. He was just like, yeah, $50. I'm like, come on, dude, come on. You're closing down. Just take 20 and run.
Well, I do remember the like big VHS purge, and I had an acquaintance. He brought like a box full of VHSs because they were selling them for like 10 cents a piece. And it was like, man, if I were not so stupid, if I had to just like went and picked out all the like choice shit like Frankenhooker and stuff, because Frankenhooker sells for crazy. That one with
really?
the push button.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
I still collect VHS, and I love running across ones that they still have the Blockbuster sticker or family video sticker on them. That's just kind of reminds me of that. But
Ben says he worked at Blockbuster when they switched from VHS to DVD. They tried to have us break and toss the VHS. They wanted you to break them. Really? That's crazy. They wanted you to destroy them and then throw them out. Wow. Okay. Wow.
Sad.
That is kind of sad. I mean, just give them to a freaking mission or the Goodwill or something. Destroy them? Like, come on.
It's like a fast food place at the end of the day. They got to throw away all the food. That was Blockbuster was like, well, we got to do that with our VHS tapes then, I guess.
I bet, though, yeah, they couldn't even give them away, probably. It was just like, well, what do we do at the time? No one knew that some of those would be.
I don't know, man. I feel like the actual people were behind the market on that. I still watch VHS tapes up until like 2010, just because I still had like a working VCR and VHS tapes, and that's how I owned some movies. And there were still people rocking VHS for a long time after like that big switch went on.
What would you want to see out of a Blockbuster streaming service, Chris? What would get you to subscribe?
Probably nothing. I don't subscribe to anything but Shudder right now.
Okay.
I mainly just watch Tubi, Shudder, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I mean, it's going to be the same. It's going to be it's just another service to spread the movies thinner. We don't need
I wonder what would they sell it at? Would it go for, cheaper, like the Shudder subscription, or would it be like a, $14.99? That's kind of the high end. But
I don't think it'll be subscription based. I think it's going to be each title you're going to pay for, but it's got to be a premium reason for it to exist.
Yeah.
I mean, their only competitor would be Vudu with that market, right? Pretty much. I mean, maybe Amazon, but
it'd be different than Vudu. No, I think it's going to be more like pay-per-view as a model, but for movies. Like, so something's in theater. It came out 3 weeks ago. Now you can watch it at home for $20. But if not, you're going to wait another month to get it on a service, and maybe you have that service, maybe you don't. Right?
If that's their plan, they're going to fail. I would never, and they do it now. I would never pay $20 to rent a movie that's in theaters.
Yeah, I've never
who
done
would
it.
do that.
Well, so it's actually a big part of the market in the digital consumption market. It's actually a lot bigger than you think it is.
I actually see a lot of people that would, because that would save them the journey to the theater, save them from having to buy concessions, save them from having to buy, if you're talking about a family event, I mean, that's a lot of money. So just dropping 20 to, rent the movie instead of going to the theater, that would save a lot of people money.
I mean, I guess I have the old man mentality, I guess, but that's not, I want to go to the theater, but I know that's probably a dated concept, but.
So true VOD is a big market. It's bigger at this point than physical media. So yeah, I mean, there's a market for it. The question is, do people really need another avenue? Because Amazon does a little bit of this, YouTube does a little bit of this. So there are avenues out there for those premium rentals early. I guess Blockbuster feels like they could become the one place that could do it. That's what I'm gathering from what I've read on the subject. But again, I don't know anything, but I can't imagine just a regular subscription streaming service, because is there enough product out there to get people to sign on for another streaming service? I don't think there is. And I don't see any reason the Blockbuster name is going to mean more to people than, I mean, Redbox tried this a couple years ago. It didn't, just having a streaming service, they couldn't get the licensing to make it matter. I don't see why Blockbuster would if it's just a regular streaming service. And brick and mortar, I'm going to tell you, there's no way. If that is their plan, that will be so short-lived. It's not funny. Anyone who's ever run a business, a flesh and blood business, will tell you there's no way it's going to work. No way.
I feel like there'd be a boom at first when they first opened.
I just think that market is just too small.
But where are they even getting the product from? Like, seriously.
I mean, that's a good question too. Yeah.
Movies you buy.
Oh, you mean like not a rental store, but like you're buying the movies, that kind of place.
Yeah,
like
but
those
they're
movies
not even
buy movies you get at like Dollar Generals and stuff. That's where they get their stock.
They'd have to, pretty much, because the thing is, like, even the sell through physical media market, they're not producing enough to support something like a Blockbuster train. Yeah, if we're talking about 20 stores, they are, but like if you're to try and do a nationwide relaunch, you're talking about the entire industry changing course. I just don't see it. Not for one company.
Yeah.
They open up inside of movie theaters.
Well, again, I think that there's a market for doing that very selectively, but I don't know about.
I mean, hey, what if they're gonna get into what if they're gonna try to print VHSs of big movies? I mean, I know that's unlikely. I'm not saying that's probably or even slightly gonna happen, but what if we don't know what's coming? What if they try to turn VHS into vinyl or something? Not saying it'll work, but
good luck to them.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, we'd all buy a VHS copy of
that. That definitely won't be a physical location then.
Yeah. I miss Hastings too, Mad Bull. I miss Hastings too.
I mean, it's the best of times and worst of times now, right? Because we have everything available to us, so we don't have to wait, and we don't go to the video store and our favorite movie's out, or the movie we want to see because it just came out, they don't have enough copies of. We all love the idea of mom and pop video stores, but there's a reason we all migrated away from them too, to the Blockbusters. And there's a reason we all migrated away from Blockbuster. In the last months that Blockbuster was open in all of our towns, you're probably not telling the truth if you say that you were using it as much as you were 5 years before that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every weekend, that was my life. Every weekend I would go rent movies.
Didn't they try to do the Redbox thing too, though, at the very end, where you would rent it from the box?
They did.
The disc, yeah.
And the problem was there was an established business that was doing a really good job with it, called Redbox. So there was no point.
Yeah, that's that history of them always being like a step behind. If they had done something like a few months sooner, they would have been ahead of the game, but they just always hesitated.
Hey, listen, you're talking to a guy in Swaggy who still rents the physical copies from Netflix.
DVDs from Netflix.
Dude, man. You are running out of time to do that. I'm sorry to report, though. They are shuttering that service this year. So.
What?
Oh man.
You just ruined my day.
Different era, Swaggy.
Yes, they just celebrated 25 years of doing it.
Yep.
That's gotta sting, man. You gotta rent the last one, you gotta make it juicy, and you gotta keep that bitch.
You just kicked me right in the junk.
Sorry.
You need to really think about what your final rental is gonna be, and you better keep it and frame it.
Hell yeah.
Yes. That is what you should do. Oh man, Dustin Lewis still gets him too. He's probably crushed.
I have mad respect for that. And that's not even like, I'm not being sarcastic or silly. That's like, it's awesome that y'all have held on to that. Like, I love that.
I remember those days, man. I remember those days.
Me too.
I would be so shocked when I'd get that disc in the mail and it just came in a tiny little thin paper envelope and like, it's not broken, it's not cracked, it somehow made it here, you know. But yeah, those were the days, man. Wow.
I remember too, whenever that started and the technology to like burn or copy disc was kind of becoming popular. Maybe it was already there, but there was like one guy that every movie he got, he would burn it. You know, he would make a copy of it or something like that. I don't even know if now that's possible. But
I remember first signing up for Netflix and like, you know, because they had the option where you could stream stuff. You could get the physical copy and stream stuff or just one or the other. And I was like, stream stuff? No one's going to do that. Give me the physical, you know, and of course, you know. But, man, those were the days.
Convenience will kill us all.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Convenience will definitely kill
us all.
We're
all guilty. It's just like the Walmart thing. All of us would prefer to shop everywhere but Walmart, but we all find ourselves in Walmart way too regularly.
I mean,
we've all Walmart today.
We've all watched something on Netflix that we own because we didn't want to get up off the couch to get the disc.
It's true.
No, it's probably cheaper for me to have the streaming service. I just don't do it.
I've done that. I've done that more times than I want to admit. Where I'm like, the Blu-ray's right over there, but screw it. Let's just go to Tubi because I know it's on Tubi.
I'd have to get up, take 3 steps, open the case.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm comfortable here on my recliner. You know.
How entitled are we? Right.
Convenience is king, man.
Yeah, well, it is. Yeah. My fears about the future, though, of like lesser known movies or movies of a time is in play. I think physical media it's on the decline hugely now, but I still worry about where that does lead because not so much. I'm not worried about where you're going to be able to watch a John Carpenter film. Okay, there'll always be a home. But if you do like things that are a little bit off the beaten track or a little bit older or a lot older, I don't know where their commercial future lies. I mean, there's a generation already exists that are driving and getting married and having kids that will not watch a black and white movie. Mm-hmm. I don't know what happens in 30 years to everything made before 1960, you know?
Well, I mean, even up to the 2000s and 2010s, like, there are so many movies, good or bad. They're movies that were made and exist that you just can't. The only way you can see them is to go out and find a VHS or DVD of them, and they're not gonna survive past that.
No,
and I mean, even if it's a garbage movie, it's like it's a movie that got made that somebody might like, and it's just not gonna be there.
Well, I think we're approaching that time. We're approaching a time where even movies made in the 80s that have never made it beyond VHS, they could disappear forever. You know, everybody's out there waving the Summer Camp Nightmare flag and the Hunter's Moon flag, and you know, I'm waving the Psycho Cop flag. But like every year that passes, that's another year closer to those movies just no longer existing.
Absolutely. I mean, there's been recently a lot of news of titles coming out that I never thought I'd see, and maybe we're just getting to the point where it's like it's now or never with these titles. But like Centipede Horror is coming out on Blu-ray. That's insane, right? I mean, the If Footmen Fail You, What Will Horses Do is coming out in a box set from Indicator of all the Ormond religious exploitation films. I pre-ordered that the day it was announced because it's like 13 films in a box set for less than $60 that I never thought I'd be able to retire my VHS copies of. So there's a lot of stuff coming out right now that you didn't expect to happen, but I really fear if it doesn't happen in this last wave, I just don't know. I don't know. It's scary times.
That makes me think, like, where do you think physical media will be, let's just say 5 years from now?
Even more niche?
Yeah, I mean, it's only going to get smaller. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not increasing. I mean, well, I don't know.
I feel like the two options are it'll stay relatively the same or it'll be gone. I mean, that's
okay. So the first option is not really an option right now. I'm looking at the chart right now from the week ending March 18th. So 56% of what sold was on DVD. Blu-ray accounted for 36.5%, and UHD, which is 4K, was 6.6%. And when you look at the actual numbers of what sold by dollar, the entire market for physical media was down 33.7% from the previous year, same week. So it's currently making $22.98 million as an industry. It's lost a third of its business in the last year. Now we can pretend that everything's going to be the same forever, but with those numbers you do hit a point where there's no investment, and already you're seeing it in the big guys. Basically, the boutiques are all clouding our minds, right? The big guys are looking for the exits,
right? So Best Buy, Walmart, places like that,
they're getting out.
Like I even heard not Family Dollar, but like Dollar Tree. They're trying to get out of the physical media business.
I believe tomorrow all their stock goes to two for $1. So, yeah.
So
there's some great titles too, and some Blu-rays. By the way, it's great value if you want to do it, but you can come to my store and buy them. This is the change that we've been expecting is definitely happening. I do think because the amount of burning technology that exists in independent hands, the idea that there will be no physical media, but it may not represent the industry we see today at all. It might look completely different. And the machines aren't going to last forever either because we bought them for a price.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 years from now, I don't have a lot of hope. It's going to be minuscule compared to what it is right now. Because it's not like it's going to slow down decreasing sales. That's not going to happen. Maybe even that Blockbuster news is going to hurt it even more. Who knows?
Well, speaking of physical media, did anybody take advantage of the Vinegar Syndrome halfway to Black Friday sale? Probably should have brought this up before Dan left because I'm sure Dan probably spent a small fortune.
Well,
But
I can speak for Dan. I think he waited on Showgirls, he was saying, because it's Showgirls.
yeah.
I did hear those sales for that was like through the roof.
Yeah, that was really weird. They said it was their best-selling title to date. What? Over like Roadhouse? Like if that's it's so confusing. Showgirls, that's so weird.
That's an odd one for them to release, but I mean, I guess it's one of those like it was available and they got it. More power to them. I've heard it's supposed to be a really good release, so I mean, I may pick it up. I definitely got a Blade in the Dark. I'm holding out on on Boogeyman. But I definitely grabbed a Blade in the Dark. I like that movie a lot, and there's supposed to be multiple cuts of it. So, yeah, and they made it where you could. At first you couldn't get them individually. You had to get the bundle or wait. Then they made it where you could get them individually if you wanted them. So I went ahead and pre-ordered a Blade in the Dark.
Well, I'll be honest. I like Showgirls. It's funny. It's hilarious, but
it is.
This is like a whole different topic, kind of. But I'm kind of already getting worn thin with the everything is a $40 4K with a hard box and shit. I like Showgirls. I'm not gonna buy a $40 4K of it.
How much was it?
I think around 40, wasn't it?
It was 35 to $40. Yeah. It's supposed to come in some super fancy, like the same packaging that the Beastmaster release came in, like that really fancy packaging. But And look, Showgirls is a fun movie. It's a fun, bad movie. But, do I need it? Well, some people probably really do need it on 4K. They're going to be right up on the screen looking at Jesse. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Jesse. Well,
I mean, that's why if it's the top
Yeah.
selling for real, that's why, because Jesse Spano dances naked in it. That's the selling point.
Yeah.
I love how that director did Total Recall.
Paul
blows my mind. Like
Paul Verhoeven directed some great movies, and then like out of nowhere, he directed Showgirls. Okay.
Yeah, it was just like.
Well, I've heard the argument, and I haven't watched it since I've heard this argument, but I've heard the argument that it's actually better than people give it credit for, because it's like got a lot of satire in it that people, I guess, took as being played as straight. But like, I just heard that. I'm not arguing for that stance.
Yeah, I don't.
Anything.
I don't remember I remember it feeling very serious, but I don't.
Yeah, I remember it being pretty bad.
Yeah. Nico says, fun fact about Showgirls, 90% of the stuff that happened in the film was inspired by true events, much like Cruising. Really?
Okay. Verhoeven was in a really weird place in the 90s, though, too. People forget, like, Hollow Man, and like,
right.
He was kind of like in this weird exploitation mode, which was really out of time with what was going on in like mainstream mall theater cinema. So I think, we have weird feelings on it. It's a bad movie. It's definitely one of his worst, but I think it was just he was interested in stuff that we weren't at that time, more than anything. Because Hollow Man I liked when it came out, but I watched it a couple years ago, and I was like, wow, this has not aged well on me.
You're talking about the Kevin Bacon Hollow Man?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know he did that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
Can't go wrong with Elizabeth Shue, though.
She looked great in that movie. She sure did. But yeah, that was an interesting title for them. Okay, cool. I was happy for A Blade in the Dark, and I may get Boogeyman. That's a wild movie. I don't know. I was hoping for. I'd heard a few different like Killer Clowns from Outer Space was something that everybody was talking about to the point where I believed it. I also heard that there's another movie that they're going to be releasing soon in 4K that's definitely just the perfect movie for them. I can't say what it is. It's an 80s movie. Most people hate it, but it'll be just on point with Vinegar Syndrome.
People were saying Seed of Chucky too, which
that was a weird one. That was a weird one too. Like, I don't, that's a Sony. Like, I don't. If they did put it out, I'm not interested. But Cheerleader Camp,
the Blu-ray, so I think I'm good on that one.
Cheerleader Camp, they may be releasing Cheerleader Camp, because if you like their little when they were dropping hints, they talked about a cheery 80s slasher movie. I mean, that it may be too on the nose for Cheerleader Camp, but that's what it sounded like to me. That was the movie that came to mind. Either that or John Russo's The Majorettes.
I've never seen that one. I know you mentioned.
It's a slasher turned revenge action movie. So it's interesting. I like it. I like it, but
I mean, let's be real though. There could be like up to 500 cheerleader based slasher movies from the 80s that we don't even know about.
That's true. That's very, very true. That's very true. Yep. And then they one of their hints was like a master of the genres. One of the masters of the genres. Most wacky movies is coming out or something like that. They said something about a neck breaking something. I don't know. That one didn't bring any bells for me, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Speaking in riddles.
Exactly. Yeah. Chester says there's supposed to be more VS announcements coming in a couple of days. Cool. Good.
All I can say is that we're getting The Great Haunting of Julia finally as a high def title, and pretty much if that was the last release of physical media, I would say we went out on the right note. So
I got the one from Vivision on the way.
you got Vivision?
I've got the Vivision.
I got Indicator on the way.
Okay.
Because it comes with the soundtrack on CD, which is my favorite horror soundtrack of all time. So
I think this one comes with the soundtrack too from Vivision. I think it does, but that's the one I went with over like the Scream Factory one.
Yeah, Scream Factory was actually the least. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure it's the same transfer in every case. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter. There's different extras. I don't care about the extras, but I do care about that soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I missed something here. I was going to bring something up here. Is there a 4K release of Alice, Sweet Alice? I don't think so yet. Maybe at some point soon, Arrow will release one. It's certainly worthy of a 4K. Blood Beach. I'm shocked. I'm shocked Vinegar Syndrome's not put out Blood Beach. It's got to be on their list unless it's owned by somebody else.
Blood Beach is such a. I saw it a million times on television growing up. It's a film it's difficult to actually watch now because my memories of as a kid was this is an awesome film, and no matter how much you like the movie, awesome is not a word that's probably coming to mind. But as a kid, yeah.
Yeah. The Haunting of Julia. It used to be on YouTube. I guess it's still there, but I mean, we're getting like 4K quality releases of it coming very soon. So
in the proper ratio aspect, which the YouTube version is not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite films of all time. It's unbelievably great. I think it's the scariest thing ever made. So
Wow. I'd actually recommend. Well, I guess you could watch it on YouTube, and if you liked it, but since it's not going to be in its best quality and not formatted correctly, it almost seems like I don't know, Yeah.
I mean, listen, if you want Evil Dead 2, you're not going to get that out of Haunting of Julia. It's not that kind of a horror film. But if you want something that's actually going to stick with you and mess with you badly, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's quite good.
It's the kind of film that A24 would have released in 1977 if they were around. I mean, It's what it is. It's based on the great Peter Straub novel. Mia Farrow is in the lead role, and she's better in it than she is in anything else in her career. The score by Colin Towns is just unbelievable. It's a theremin-based score. It's amazing. It's just it's one of those great gems of the genre that doesn't get talked about enough. I talk about it a lot, but most people probably never even heard of it. So,
does it have an alternate title?
Yes.
Full Circle.
Full Circle. Okay.
But that's unless you're in Britain, you know it as Haunting of Julia, because the novel was called Julia.
No 4K release for Edge of the Axe yet, but I love that movie, so definitely recommend it. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we call it a night? Or Chris, were there any topics that we went over earlier in the show that you want to throw your 2 cents in on?
I don't know. Y'all talked about Scream, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't watched Pooh, Blood and Honey. I actually have my own separate beef with that movie. The filmmakers are horrible. They're hurting independent film with their existence.
Okay.
I don't think too fondly of them.
Okay.
Is that where the death threats come from?
I think we can find out.
I'm posing as a Winnie the Pooh super fan and sending them death threats.
Well, I think it was Dan was telling us before we went live that the producer of Blood and Honey has released like 200 movies over the past 6 years.
Yeah,
that's a lot of. That's like.
Well, that's the problem. That's the problem. He's perpetuating. I'm a guy who loves like independent horror and B movies. The stupid stuff that gets a bad rep is like some of my favorite stuff. And he perpetuates that stereotype that all these movies are garbage because he pumps them out with no effort. You know, the best like indie B movies like that, they have charm and stuff because they were made with like intent, and the person who made them put work into them, and that guy just pumps out garbage, and it's like floods shelves in Walmart, and it floods YouTube, and it wastes everybody's time. I feel like I'm extra salty about this because I feel like that movie got into theaters because of Terrifier 2. And if it did anything, it hurt what Terrifier 2 accomplished, because anybody who went and saw Terrifier 2 and gave Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey a chance because of that probably left going like, well, fuck, I'm never doing that again, you know?
Well,
and again, I haven't seen the movie.
Skinamarink probably did far more damage, I'm thinking.
I mean, I haven't seen that one either. But
what you're saying, though, is, Chris, you brought up something that I think is really, like, vital, which is, like, not that necessarily the average 1982 slasher film was a better film, maybe, than Pooh, Blood and Honey, but you had to know your craft just to make it. Right, you to physically make a film, you had to know some craft. You couldn't be an absolute amateur and release something to the world. And although, like, there's definitely like films of lesser quality from back then, there was still a dividing line that you couldn't dip under and actually get it out to there. And that's kind of gone now. And I do think that some people's worst impressions of the genre might get reinforced. So I think you're right. I think you are right.
And there are dudes, like, if you're into that stuff, you know, go watch Joe Bigos movies. He's right. He's one of my favorite directors right now. Go watch his movies. Don't watch stuff like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I mean, if it's your thing, whatever, but I don't see how it could be. And again, I haven't seen that one, but I've seen a couple of his movies, and they make me very angry because there's little to no effort put in them. And if you're going to make a low budget horror movie and you don't have a lot of means, like, I don't know, the charm is what's going to get people to like it, you know? And there's just no charm in those movies. He picks clickbait titles, throws something together. The last one I watched, the like actual dialogue scenes and the scenes with it was Killing Tree, and the scenes with the Killing Tree where it was just like a CGI Christmas tree doing dumb shit, and then the dialogue scenes were completely separate, and it's like I don't even think he shot a movie knowing what it was. He just shot some scenes and then like sandwiched it together, and it's just like when I saw Killing Tree, I got hyped. I was like, that could be awesome. You know, it could be like Jack Frost or something. And it wasn't. It was just a waste of 90 minutes.
I did try to watch that back during the holidays, and try is the operative word there. I did not succeed in watching it for very long, at least. Dave, supposedly Vestron is putting out Trick or Treat. I mean, the cat's been out of the bag on that one for a long time. I don't know what's holding it up, but
they got to pay Fastway.
They got to pay Fastway. Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Let's see what else we got in the chat. I love 1 Hour Photo. It's been a while since I last saw it, but love that movie. Love Robin Williams' performance. Yeah. Spring break time means it's time to trot out Nightmare Beach. I agree. Nightmare Beach, if you're Nightmare Beach gets my thumbs up too, Nico. I've actually had this conversation recently about fan films. I think the fan film thing just kind of died. It seems it really kind of did. And I think there was just such a huge burnout from fan films because 90% of them were Friday the 13th fan films. And people just got, I think Never Hike Alone set the bar really high. I don't think anybody met that bar. I think there were some good ones thrown in there, but a lot of them weren't that great. And yeah, we're at that era. We're at the point now where it's just over. I mean, we had, there was the My Bloody Valentine fan film, which I thought was okay. And we've got Never Hike 2 coming out at some point. But that's it. That's like the fan film era is just done. Just done.
I feel like Womp Stomp wasn't the exception. You're not gonna like get a lot of good movies out of that, are you? I mean, the Never Hike Alone movies were like, they felt like professionally produced movies.
Yeah.
That's not going to be the norm, you know?
That's not going to be the norm. That's not going to be the norm. And there were some good Friday the 13th fan films, like Jason Rising, I thought was good. There's at least
Bloodlines is another one.
What was the one you did a watch along
Vengeance.
with? Where it was like, it went supernatural. You know what I'm saying?
That's Jason Rising. That was
That
Jason
one was-
Rising.
I enjoyed that one.
Yeah,
I
like
where it went.
I like that one too. Yeah, that one was fun. But yeah, I don't know, it just seems like there was such a glut of Friday the 13th fan films that it just sort of choked out the whole fan film thing, and it just kind of, I don't know.
I'm trying to think. Josh Brooks, was that one of the guys that did one of them? He did two of them actually. I think.
Jason Brooks.
Jason Brooks. Okay.
Jason. Yep.
I think that was Vengeance and Bloodlines.
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
I think too, with two Friday the 13th projects coming up now, like legit, like there may be a hesitancy, because in the past with nothing going on, maybe no one was watching the IPs. That might not be the case now.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, you don't want to spend a year working on something and have it just become thrown into the void where no one's ever going to see it, or worse, you actually get sued over it. So I think it might just be that there was a time when Friday was in limbo. No one really even knew who owned it. So these fan films came out in mass.
Mm-hmm. Now
it's a little bit more, it's less oblique, right?
Mm-hmm.
So legally.
Yeah. We've got Tom from DWN Productions hanging out with us tonight. What's up, man? Rewatched Batman Dead End recently. Still pretty dope. Cool. Very cool. Hope you're doing well, man. Oh, by the way, I've got my koozie. Just happens to be right there. Need to put a cold one in there. I did see the Black Christmas fan film, It's Me, Billy. I thought it looked very professionally done. My problem with it was like when something finally started to happen, that's when the movie ended. But it looked really professionally done, and the acting, as I recall, was good.
I almost made a joke, but I feel like I would get like burned at the stake if I did. I was gonna say, well, that's how the first movie kind of was, isn't it?
No,
it's a joke though. I like the movie. I like the movie.
I'm just that. Let's see. That's right, Dave. Phantasm was released 44 years ago today. Happy birthday, Phantasm. Yes, indeed. Speaking of fan films, that last Phantasm movie was pretty much a fan film.
It's pretty much one of the worst fan films.
Nice.
It's oof.
Yeah.
Talk about a misleading trailer, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
That's what it makes me think. If Phantasm came out today, would they send that straight to streaming, or would it actually go to theaters?
It would be at the bottom of Prime. You wouldn't even see it.
That's a good question. That's a good. I think there's a lot of the movies that we consider classics today. Like, I don't know if they'd forget about theatrical releases. Like, I don't know if they'd. I mean, I don't know.
Something like Phantasm might be able to sneak out by IFC Midnight. Might give it a few screens for a weekend, and then I could see like there might be some. I mean, that's a really high quality film. I mean, But I can completely understand a lot of the early 80s glut stuff would never today.
Mhm.
There's no way. The Mutilator would not have gotten a theatrical today. There's no way.
Yeah, probably not.
No.
Yeah.
That was a VHS staple in all of our houses, so don't even play.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like, Girls Night Out wouldn't have got a theatrical release.
Zero chance.
Final Exam probably wouldn't have got a Sleepaway Camp wouldn't have got I love Sleepaway Camp to death, but like
New Year's Evil, not a chance.
Oh, not a chance in the world. No chance.
Maniac?
No chance.
You think Maniac would have?
So Maniac would have. I could see as an A24 release. I could see that happening.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Again, that's
like
a big jump in quality there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I love Bubba Hotep, Wild Wrangler. I love Bubba Hotep.
Joe Bob is touring with it right now as a live double feature.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Chester says we may have to add Chris to the cancel poll. Speaking of which,
it was a joke. I like Black.
I hope I've expanded my lead. Wait, let me say something. I could probably actually lean into this if you wanted me to.
Talk about the Nightmare on Elm Street sequels.
Oh yeah, they're all awful. Yeah, and I just won, as if it was even in question.
Oh goodness. Well, let's take a look at the cancel poll before we call tonight here. We've got 79 votes. Thank you all for voting. In last place, we've still got Dan with 11% of the votes. Swaggy had 14%. Again, I'm not sure what Swaggy did. I've got 29% and Lauren has 46% of the votes. I'm going to
by 2%. I'm up.
I'm going to end it right there. So there you go. Good times. Let's go around the horn here. And Swaggy, where can we find you on social media?
I am only on Instagram under John's Cool World. So check it out if you'd like to. It's whatever.
He's there if you
I don't care.
He's there. How could we forget about this birthday? 23 years of Leprechaun in the Hood. Wow.
I think the Birds came out today too. 63 years ago.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Interesting. Chris, where can we find you on social media?
Slasher Home Video. I've been AWOL for a month, but I'm coming back.
He's coming back.
I had COVID and a couple other things happened, and it just kind of buried me. But I am still, I'm still a YouTube channel, believe it or not. So,
well, I'm glad you're. Seems like you're feeling better. You're back to 100%.
Taste buds intact.
I'm ready for that Manborg review.
Yeah. I guess I need to make that one of my next videos. I've been saying that for 2 months now.
I will say I did watch a recent one. Oh, I say recent. You talked about Amusement. You named yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, I'd never heard of that one.
Oh yeah.
That one, Nightmare Man was another one you mentioned
well, Nightmare Man, you gotta understand that you're there for Tiffany Shepis.
Yeah, well,
yes, she sold it. Yes, that last third act was good.
Man, yeah, the ending is where it turns into a Rofkanesky movie. That's when it gets good.
Yeah. I recently picked up some new shot on video stuff, Chris. I'll let you know if they're worth your time. I picked up Night Feeder and Night of the Zodiac. So
Night Feeder, is that the Alien movie?
Does
it have the gray aliens on the cover?
No. It's not that one. Not that one.
That one might be Feeders you're thinking.
That might not great.
But I'm looking forward to checking those out. I'll let you know, Chris, if those are worth your time.
All right.
Lon, where can we find you?
On the YouTube at Visited by Voices 1, on the Twitter at Lauren Dixon, LORNEDIXON, or most importantly on Amazon, where you can pick up Divide by Zero in a beautiful hardcover or paperback or ebook. And and help me not have to work so hard in life.
There you go. There you go. And do you want to go ahead and let everybody know about the relaunch of Region Free?
So some of this is public knowledge, apparently, but so Region Free is coming back in a slightly different form, but it's going to respect the grand history of Sausage Factory / Region Free that Piz trailblazed for us. He, of course, always has an open seat on the show. If he ever decides to set it, we'll just keep the plates out there for him if he wants dinner. It's going to be the show you know and love, but it's also going to be a new experience, a little bit more conversational. I've been tasked to show run. So sometimes I'll be on camera, sometimes I'll be behind the camera. It'll be a rotating cast. Some very familiar faces people know, some very new faces that have never been on the show before. I think not having a central show for the community for a long time as a panel show was definitely something that created a lot of hunger out there for. So it'll be a place where you all can come together and have great chats, and the chats that have nothing to do with what we're doing, all that stuff that used to happen. And again, the intent is really to have a home for a lot of these conversations with a lot of great people. You will have to join a new YouTube channel for the third season. That unfortunately was not something we could avoid. However, the easiest way to do that is to go to the Twitter and follow Region Free YT. If you already follow that account, then you're golden. Just go to that account and subscribe to the new page. There'll be a lot of announcements coming shortly. We're working hard on getting it all in line for May 13th, which is a Saturday at 8 p.m. 2-hour monthly show.
There you go. Does anybody want to hold on. Okay, so Evil Dead Rise doesn't come out to the 21st. Let's just quickly thumbs up or thumbs down. Your thoughts on Evil Dead Rise. Swaggy, are you excited?
Oh, that's probably the most excited. Well, I don't say that, but one of the most anticipated movies. I saw the trailer. I wish I wouldn't have, because hopefully I'll forget some of the stuff. But yeah, they seem to know what they're doing with that franchise.
Chris, thumbs up, thumbs down, Evil Dead Rise?
I mean, yeah, Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness are like two of my favorite movies of all time. And yeah, if it's not one of my favorite movies of the year, there might be a problem, because I'm a mark for that shit. And yeah, I have high expectations for it.
Okay. Lauren, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Can't say. There's things in the trailer that I really, really, really like. There's a couple things that really worry me. I don't know how I feel about kids in this franchise, and that could go wrong really easily. There's also a couple lines of dialogue that I think are really like, you need a Bruce Campbell level performance to pull off that level of cheese. The Mommies with the Maggots line is really painful to me. But other stuff I'm hopeful for. The idea of a deadite coming out of the lake and levitating overhead, I think is really inspired, because it's something we haven't really seen. Mm-hmm. A little bit in the first film, right? But mm-hmm. I listen. I want them to make a new film without borders and without having to satisfy the old fans. So I hope that's what they went for. It's going to be bloody. There'll be chainsaws and cheese graters. Yeah, that's all great, but I just hope I hope it works as its own thing, and we don't have to be worried about what came before with the franchise.
I agree. Well, that's one of the things that's excited me about it, is that it looks like it's just kind of going to be its own thing. And we don't need some cameo from Bruce Campbell and everyone. We don't need to know the history of let's just like a kind of one-off fun little Evil Dead movie. That could be fun. That's what I'm hoping for with Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah, you hear that a lot. I keep hearing people say but Bruce Campbell better be in it and stuff, and I'm just like, no, he doesn't. It would be bad if he's in it. His story wrapped up nicely. The Necronomicon and all that stuff can exist without him. It's okay. Like it'll hurt the movie if he's in it, you know?
Yeah. Or do the dumb little post credit, you know, with him, like, I don't know, saying groovy again or something. I don't know. Something like that.
Well, I think they should have the girl from the last film say groovy and then to this one.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's
the only required cameo is the Delta. That's the only one. And it'll be there. You know it'll be there.
If Jane Levy pops up at the end and says groovy, I'll like that.
I think that would be the better way to go.
That would be awesome.
I just, you know, it's like one of these things, like it just barely qualifies as a long running franchise because there really aren't as many installments as most of the other. But we are at that point where it's like, if they're going to continue, I just want them to do something fresh and cool and original. I don't want them to soften it, and I don't think they have. I'm hearing that it is gorier than any film before it in the franchise, but I'm also hearing that, again, the kids are going to temper some of the enthusiasm because they're a big part of the movie, like bigger than you're thinking from the trailer. So we'll find out. I'm hopeful.
We'll find out. Yeah, we'll find out. It was supposed to be just a straight to streaming movie, and it tested so well that they said let's put it out there, see what happens.
Well, I say it every time it comes up. From my understanding, Raimi, Tappert, and Campbell, like, because Raimi owns it flat out. Maybe not Army of Darkness, but Evil Dead, and he gives Tappert and Campbell equal say, and they're very protective of it. And from my understanding, like, and just evidence in the history of the franchise, they're not going to let something that they don't approve like come out with the Evil Dead name on it, you know. So I have faith in that. They're very protective of it.
Yeah. So I'm excited for it. Bring it on. That's what I'm saying. Bring it on. All right. Well, let me do some shout outs here and then we'll call it a night. Let me see here. Shout out to Killer Cutie07, who was hanging out with us tonight over on Twitch. Shout out to Nick Smith for becoming a channel member. Thank you, sir. Shout out to Horror Orman for the $2 super chat. Shout out to Davo for the $5 super chat. And shout out to the Daily Ghost for the $5 super chat. Hopefully, Davo and Ghost will see you on the next stream. Let's see who's still with us here on YouTube. We've got Mad Bull 876, movie fan, Wild Wrangler, Justin Smith, Mrs. Erica Lauren Horn Mason, JK Rants and Reviews. We got Dave in the chat. We got Chrissy Ringert in the chat. We got Ben Graham, Scratch Burno, Matt 11708, Punisher Batman fan, Michael Sullivan, Bronson Wright Wolf. Great name. Like and subscribe. I like that. Like and subscribe. Nice. Tom from DWN Productions, Cliff Booth. I know we had Jess hanging out in the chat a little while ago. Cable Channel 11. So yeah, thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. This has always been fun, and thank all of you on the panel, Chris, Swaggy, Lauren, for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you all for being patrons. I appreciate that. Have a great rest of your Tuesday night. And also Dan, who had to bow out a little early. Have a great rest of your Tuesday night. We will see you again in the very near future. Take care and peace.